Okay, let's get this started. And it looks like today I have my restream. Let's turn it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so new series. Um, over the last couple of months, obviously, I've been trying to figure out when is a good time to deploy Liquid Sky. And what dawned on me pretty much during yesterday's stream was that there's never going to be a better time than now to do it, because it's at the point where we can use Liquid Sky to plan Liquid Sky. So if we get the deployment figured out now, future challenges, you know, um, future design changes can be allowed for in the deployment, and we can kind of grow and keep practicing that deployment story as we go, and then when it's ready to release, that's tested and battle hardened. And I can keep putting it off. I can keep adding features. I can keep trying to say, hey, we need to add this, we need to add this. But in reality, you can add a planning item, you can add tasks to the planning item, you can put those planning items in those tasks in a sprint, and you can complete the sprint and you can complete the planning item. So we can essentially track work using Liquid Sky. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it is working. So we get to deployment. Infrastructure as code seems like the logical thing to do here. I do not want to play around with writing Helm charts. I've done that before. It is nightmarish. The reason I'm going to focus on Kubernetes is because to deploy this to Azure or to AWS is a cost I cannot cover and cannot understand. Right? I can't even quantify what it is that I want to do exactly. So at least building and deploying to Kubernetes on a local machine. I have a bot sat here, Coas, that I can use to deploy to. I can use to figure out some of these things. If I have troubles with it, I can wipe it, start again. I actually have two boxes, so I'm probably going to prepare the other one, get that ready, so that I can um, have the two boxes and ultimately build an actual cluster out of these things, but be able to swap out, and if I have troubles with one in a stream, I've got another one spare. I can do the other one. So I have Monocle just to keep an eye on things. This is connected to the cluster. There's a whole lot of Kubernetes stuff that I've already configured over the last couple of months on the machine. So there's already the kubeconfig, there's kubectl installed. I've installed lots of tools to do this. I'm not going to try and go through that again on stream because it's just it's stuff that I've kind of bumbled through enough to get to querying. And my general way of learning is kind of learning by failing, and then get to understand the pieces I need to know as I go forward. So I decided to put this in its own series purely because it is it's not Liquid Sky. It won't be about Liquid Sky. As much as we'd be using Liquid Sky to plan a little bit here, but it's not about it. So it's its own video series on YouTube. Okay, so what have I done so far? I have configured. Last time we did this, I came to Pulumi. I configured Pulumi. Afterwards, I wiped this box, reinstalled this box, and validated I could get Pulumi to deploy and whatnot to it. The Pulumi dashboard, by the way, when we were talking about this, does not, as far as I can see, support dark mode. So I'm going to try and keep this window as small as possible while it's on screen. But for right now, it doesn't need to be. So other housekeeping items. I am going to use TypeScript for this. I'm not going to try and do through C#. It looks like the recommended way of doing this is TypeScript. It seems like one of the better choices. So I'll follow along with that recommendation. It's not going to be that much different, right? So what I've done so far is I have checked out the stack, that's the right word, the stack on Pulumi that I created last time. It has no resources in it, there's no deployments in it, nothing's ready. It's just plain, just to divide it, that it's just plain stack. So you go into stacks, then we have Liquid Sky, and then there's the dev stack, and that is empty. And that's it. It's a Kubernetes TypeScript template, and there we go. So, I'm very much fumbling around in the dark here. I don't know. I've got to learn terminology. I've got to learn tools. It's had me installing all sorts of tools for secrets management, for all sorts of things, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So the first focus is, can I get the Liquid Sky login page to load? Because it's Angular, it has no dependency on that front page of being connected to a database. It can run independently. You can get to that login page without anything else running, right? If I'm running this application, I can do that. So yeah. What I want to try and do is I wanted to keep the code for the Pulumi piece completely separate. So the deployment scripts are not part of the repo. I don't know whether that's a good idea or a bad idea. And I'm open to thoughts on that one. It, if I have it as part of the repos, it's kind of, I mean, there'd be a Pulumi folder in here. There'd be a Pulumi in Liquid Sky. But they are, or rather, there'd be a Pulumi at the top level, right? It'd be at the main application, at the main level, not this client app. But it just feels that that's going to be too messy. Can I do this outside of that directory? So Pulumi has their own GitHub Copilot, and I've kind of asked a few questions already just to get started. So, how do I deploy, configure, and how do I deploy, configure, and deploy? Wow, I was tired. Set up your Angular project, install Pulumi and require packages, create a Pulumi project, define infrastructure. It does give you the scripts, right? So that's an S3 script though. So to deploy an Angular website to Kubernetes, then set up your Angular project, install Pulumi and require packages, create a Pulumi project, initializes a new Pulumi project in your Angular project directory. Hello, bro. How you doing? Define Kubernetes resources. Write Pulumi code to define the Kubernetes resources needed to host your Angular website. This typically includes a deployment, a service, and an ingress. So I do know from the last time I was playing with Kubernetes that the deployment is the actual code, the site. A service is the thing that runs the thing, and an ingress is a rule for allowing access into that resource, right, into that service. Hi, Full Level. How you doing? Build your Angular project and use Pulumi to deploy. Right, so they give you this, which create deployment. Right, this could be anything. It's generic. It doesn't actually. There we go. Docker images. That's what we need to do. We might need to do builds first. I wrote a Truche. Why is it Truche? Square tiles with patterns that are not rotationally symmetric. Huh. Okay. So this tells me I've got an instant challenge, right? So I remember this last time. So this is going to require me to have Docker images of everything, right? So we don't start here. What we need to do is get the application building from and deploying Docker images. So that's step number one. Once we've got to Docker images, now we can actually do deployment. Yeah. So we get to drop that like on YouTube. Um, I'm not being that direct. My brother is watching on YouTube, and I can be that direct with my brother. Sorry, I've got to make sure I have hoblets and things, so I don't forget them. So yes, we need to build the Docker images, which this is not going to tell me that, right? It's not. It's just not. It's made it makes an assumption that I know what I'm doing. Getting started in Kubernetes starter, setting up and configuring Pulumi, creating a new Pulumi project, deploying Nginx, creating a service, right? So this again all assumes that I've got images to pull from. So we don't have that. Now I remember what I did. Now, GitHub Actions is great, but I don't have public access to my repo to be able to do a build and I can't put these in public Docker, right? Building private Docker images. So how do I do that? Well, I can create a registry, right? But the other challenge is when you deploy to Kubernetes, just no. When you deploy to Kubernetes, those images are going to want to come from its registry, not my private. So if I host a Docker registry on this machine, that's great, but I'm not going to be able to access that from that machine necessarily without some finagling. And having those images on that server, on a little, I say server, it's a little, 5-inch by 5-inch AMD mini PC. By having the Docker registry on that server, everything's local and I can run things. However, I have another challenge of building. So the GitHub action could build the application. It could create artifacts, but those artifacts still need to be consumed into some sort of Docker file and built as actual Docker images. So we have a challenge. So let me infrastructure. Let's do some picture drawing. So we need to do application code. To GitHub. to Docker images, and then we can pull from there Kubernetes. All right, so we can do deployments in Pulumi. So we need to figure out this part first. We can't proceed to this piece until we get to this piece. So Pulumi is great. It's going to help me do certain things, but I need to get to the GitHub to Docker images piece. Those images need to be private because the app's private. And those images need to be shared. So I can't put public IP, I can't put public access to this box through GitHub. There's no way I'm leaving it open all the time. I don't want processes failing because of that. So CI/CD, I remember what I did last time now. We use another JetBrains tool. Why? Actually, yeah, it's not. So last time what I did is on the Kubernetes host machine, I ran TeamCity. Hello, sir. How you doing? So, hey, boring guy. How you doing? Sorry, I missed that message. How do we do this? When we go to GitHub, we need to build Docker images. You build Docker images by using a Docker file or, configuring that in there. So the application will need to change to create a Docker file. First episode of Time to Inflict Some Headache onto myself. Yes. So this series of streams is not going to end until we have Liquid Sky deployed and running in Kubernetes, right? It can't do. I need to get that deployment done. So it is what it is. But that does raise, I need to build the Docker files so that the individual applications can be built as images. That's a lot of pieces. We can start with the website, but yeah. From there, using GitHub Actions to build Docker image and push to private repo. Can Docker Hub do private? I think it can. Repositories, Docker Hub, account settings. Because If I have to, then I will. I will definitely spend the money on that part. Sorry, I'm just getting two-factor sorted. Really? Uh, okay. So if I can get GitHub to build the image from the application as a deployment, as a build action, I can then run the CI/CD through GitHub, right? I can just say, okay, when I publish to this branch or I trigger a release, whatever, I can build all the Docker images, push them to the hub, and kick off that process somehow. Or at least if I have it so it builds the images to when we do a development release, it will build and tag with a latest version. Halloween. Um, okay, can I make a Docker Hub private? I don't want to watch a. Why is the assumption that I want to watch a video when I can just happily just jump through text? Uh, Docker desktop, explore repositories. Yeah. Liquid Sky. Okay, so I can have one private repo. Okay, so I can do that. But that's a repo is. Ew. So a repo. I'm doing it off screen because it's yeah. But however, this is able to be shown. So a repo is for the package. So I need a repo for every single thing, and you only get one free private repo. So how do I get more private repos? Liquid Sky repositories. Get more. Unlimited private repositories. $5 a month. I think we know what that is. You'll forgive me if I do this part off screen. What? How did that go up to $7 a month? Okay, so when you're advertising something, that said $5 a month. What it meant is $5 a month if you pay for $60 a year. Otherwise, $7 a month. Okay, we're gonna have to do that later. I can't. I don't have access to that information right now. Okay. Let's do. The application is Liquid Sky. So what we need to do is figure out how to push a Docker image to log into Docker Hub, Docker username, Docker password. We'll worry about that afterwards. Having the private repos is probably the most logical step, because then the GitHub action can build the image, it can create the image, and then the Docker Hub can be accessed from the machine, because the machine has internet access. I don't want to push to it. And that way, when I actually deploy, my Pulumi deployment scripts are going to reference the images as they are there. So that's so we don't need Team City. So create Docker file for Angular stack. Dockerizing your Angular app. When's this from? 2024. Okay, so it might work. Start by creating a Docker file. Let's see. So let's do this. Let's do new branch feature or spike. We're doing the stuff, so it's a feature, no matter what. Application deployment. Now, so if I go over here to the application and I want to create a Docker file for the attachments, I believe maybe not. Let's see what Docker file does then. Okay, it does. Yeah. It does do the Docker file for the thing you've got, right? That's impressive, actually. So do that. Delete Docker file. Delete Docker ignore. Okay. So let's see if this works. New Docker file. Yeah. Wah. Although, hold on. Why does it think I should do that? If I should do that at this level, is it smart enough? No. Okay. This is simple Docker file, and this coding journey I've realized that most of the things we don't understand sounds very complicated, but as soon as we explain it. Okay. What this is doing is building an Nginx image and deploying it as a deployable website, right? So you can actually just take the image and then connect to the website. It's not bad. And what we'll do is we'll map the ports afterwards. So let's do this. Where does he suggest doing this? He? Yes, Nadia. Dockerfile the root Wrangler application. See, that's the root, not this. Working to /app, right? Which is what's confusing me, because technically this is the root, right? Client app, this is the root. But that's not that. Copy package JSON. But that's there. From node as build, run npm install. And I apologize for the bright white screens. I don't know of any other way. Unless Medium now supports dark mode. Okay. Well, Nadia's done the work for me, so let's experiment, right? What's the worst that happens? Okay, so what this is going to do is going to create a working directory of /app. It's going to package everything, run npm install. That wants to do that. Good morning, bit of a late start for me. Good morning, One Line. How are you doing? Late starts are okay, no problem. No retinas were burned during the stream. Yeah, I do apologize. Yeah, this is not going to go. I'm going to make sure that it's obvious. Well, that's pretty obvious anyway. As build. So now we should be able to do Docker build. Yeah. So we should be able to open a terminal here. We should be able to do Docker build -t. Liquid sky latest. Let's see what it does. Me. Docker build. Docker build X. What's Docker build X when it's at home? Docker build X build -t. Liquid sky ng latest. Okay. ls Docker files there. Docker build. Okay, so Docker build is the command, right? Okay, yeah. Alias is Docker build, Docker builder build, Docker image build, Docker build X build B. So build X is another pipeline, is another tooling, but the alias is Docker build. Okay. Docker scout quick view. Uh, Neither here nor there. So let's go back to Nadia's code. Oh, we're going to tell it what to build. Docker build -t liquid sky ng latest dot. It's going somewhere. Had a bit of a rough night, but everything is okay now. The short of it, I will share, is that there was quite a bit of pain involved. Oh, everything's okay. We didn't end up going to the emergency room, although we were close to that. I am so sorry to hear that one line. I am glad everything is okay now. Ever good. Oh, I get it. So good to know. Like going to high school is just a good playground. Like pumpkin carving. Okay. Could not resolve. Huh. So summary for those joining. I want to focus on deployment. So from now until I actually get an application deployed, the stream's focuses will be a lot more on these pieces. Today we're starting with the application. We want to get the application, the website, the Angular site. If we can get the Angular site, I mean, I'm not going to get it deployed into today's stream, that's for certain. But what I'm focusing on right now is I'm going to get the Docker file created, pushing to GitHub, putting a GitHub action in there to kind of run CI/CD. Well, I have a GitHub action for running unit tests, but continue building around that and build a deployment pipeline that will do the build of this Docker image on GitHub and then push that Docker image to a private Docker Hub repository. From there, I can use Pulumi to create a deployment. So my apologies, Pulumi does not have light mode, dark mode. So there's going to be, as far as I can tell, there's going to be a lot of minimize windows and stuff on the stream. But from Pulumi side, once we're ready to do a deployment, we then can stacks. We can go here, we can go here, and then when we're ready to do deployment, we can actually create actually that's why, because I did this. How do I deploy an Angular application to Kubernetes? This is a new browser. This is DuckDuckGo. Oh, this one tells me to build the Docker file. That's interesting. This is DuckDuckGo. It's not bad, but it is it will stop a lot of things because it stops a lot of cookies and things. So some things just don't work, and I can't install plugins. So use Pulumi to create a Kubernetes deployment. So once we've got the Docker image there, right, and we push the image, we then use the Docker. We can use Pulumi to define everything else. Ah, Docker image, Kubernetes namespace. Oh, this one goes further. This creates a full namespace. App labels, deployment. It creates the deployment, the service, and it should create. Why no ingress? Why no ingress specifically this time? Either way, we need to. That I don't like the idea of. We're gonna have to figure out that before I actually go on just copy and paste code in. So sorry, that's not gonna be very obvious on stream, but that says right there your Docker password. That is not happening. This is why I don't like doing deployment things on stream, because I don't know what I'm doing. But we'll get there. So this is what we're focusing on right now. So let's go back to the Docker file. Let's do run that. Let's see if it changes that behavior. I don't think it will. I think the actual problem is one more of ignore CLI at latest. Actually, that's probably worth figuring out what my latest is. Hey, Sully. Thank you for the luck. ng help. ng version 18.2, 18.2.8. Let's see. Nope. It fails at run npm install. Do not resolve Angular core 18.2.8. That's the other one. Try npm cache clean false, npm install legacy depths. Got the same error. That's not. I suppose when I'm looking for this stuff, realistically, I'm not looking for how to fix it. I'm looking for how to diagnose it properly. Like I need the education on of this information, what is relevant. Not oh, I see this error, try all these different things. Oh, that worked for me. I'll move on. I want to know, okay, when I'm seeing this error, okay, I get it's telling me something, right? It's telling me resolve could not resolve while resolving core 18.2.8, could not resolve dependency, Angular core, right? But is that kind of a configuration problem? Is there something I can review? Is the message actually further down that triggered the entire thing? I don't know. But I always seem to end up. Is it in the wrong directory? Because I've had that issue before with Docker being in the wrong directory. But I mean, this is running. npm. I don't want to say legacy or whatever. I want to say, okay, well, that's not necessary because it's done that. Like this is a clean image, right? This is checking it out onto the image to build it. Because what it does is it first Yeah. It it copies everything over, gets all the dependencies ready for it, and then builds the application and then copies the application distribution. That's not going to be right. This needs to be whatever the... That's going to be that. For one, that's going to be that. I can't just call it something else. So let's leave it as that right in a second. So this works. This copies and then it runs npm install. So I can do that, which is what it wants me to do. Hey Mojo, how's it going? Nginx Docker image latest. Does it give me the images? I wish it gave you what is the latest. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. I'm just I'm diverting that for no reason. So how do I solve this problem? I want to see that if I do an npm install without Docker, that this runs fine. And if it does, then it's something to do with the way it's copying across to Docker, but or it's copying using Docker, not necessarily copying across to Docker. That's the wrong terminology. So if we go in here and do npm install now, what happens? If you are new to the stream, welcome in. What I am focused on right now is trying to, well, today I'm figuring out how to build a Docker image of an Angular application. Then want to push that to a private Docker repo, and I'm trying to get to the point where I can use Pulumi to create a Kubernetes thing. So I have a Kubernetes cluster running locally. That is here, and back to start, connect to cluster. Yeah. So yeah. Running installing Docker, does it ping Google? What? Doing an npm install. Right now, I'm running it locally so I can validate that node modules will check out and build, which it looks like it does. Apart from some deprecations, it does work. So npm install runs locally. So docker build -t liquid sky ng latest. We do that. Yeah. Hi, Connie. How you doing? This is failing. But it runs locally. Docker build npm install fails Angular. Da, 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 da. Right, but that's why. So the Docker build has package star, so all the stars go over there. All the stars. I also found I have to use copy package star JSON, and it will copy both packages. I'm unable to fix this issue. I've copied npm CI. Yeah. Let's break them out again. Get out of it. Get out of it. Is that actually a thing? Is your package JSON in a subdirectory? Not from this one. I mean, hold on. Work the app. Is that moving me down into what's that doing there? 1 second. No, because that's actually trying to build. If I'm running npm install, it's trying to use the Angular project, so it's got that, right? If I build my front end, built it with GitHub Actions, and copy the disk to the Docker, then yeah. Well, I mean, this is just doing that build and then taking the dist and putting it and then mapping the. Well, there is a new dev for the container now. I believe so. Again, I'm learning, right? So you're saying run ls like that, Stranhorn, and it'll show me what's in there when it runs. Huh? Okay, let's put this back to what it was. That's what it was. You need to put on plain text output. Oh dear. But after the run. Oh, dash. Okay, I get it. I get it. Show the ID can generate this. No. So no output, right? How do I clear the cache? Yeah, there you go. Package. There you go. They're there. So it's copied. And no, Mojo. I mean, this is someone's recommendation on how to do this. And if you do this on a .NET project and you say add Docker file, it will give you the Docker file for all the pieces for that thing. However, for Angular, it does not do anything. Is your work package compatible with Node 18? Things I have to learn. I'm on Node 22. How do I know what version it's going to support? I mean, I can just update that to the latest, right? 22. Yeah. Just 22. But how do I, what tells me that when you say work package, what tells me is it compatible? Okay, let's do that. Gotcha. Nope. Same error. That wasn't there originally, but it's not even getting to there. It's failing here, trying to run this. Version. But I ran npm install locally, and it runs fine. So the npm install without any changes to the package JSON works fine. This is the app you see me using every day on stream, right? If this didn't build, I wouldn't be doing that. So what I'm trying to do is learn how do I identify the problems, not just how do I fix the problems and follow guides, because it's just. But he's literally complaining about that conflict. Well, I get what it's complaining about, but I just deleted my node modules and ran npm install on the application outside of this, and it works fine. Can you try removing the lot file? Remove the star. You think the package lock's causing? Angular is installed globally on my machine, yes, but this isn't running on my machine, is it? Or am I misunderstanding how this works? Do you need to run the CLI first? No. The CLI is only needed for starting the application once it's built, right? To run the CLI first. I mean, I can run that first. Let's see if it's a network issue. So I added 18.2.8 because that's the version I am running locally, and I wanted to make sure 100% that it will work. But it's pulling the images and stuff, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? You think it's the network issue off of the image once it's on there? It's taking its sweet time. I'm not understanding why it works locally. I guarantee you I deleted the node modules folder and I ran npm install and it worked. I stuck on a prompt. It was taking its sweet time. This is where I go to Docker and have a mess, isn't it? Yes. That says that failed. I've got Docker desktop open. That build doesn't register. Oh no, there you go. That's that build. It just stuck. Let's do that build. They could just ignore me. Okay. This really seems like a Docker issue, like it can't get outside the container. Let's put dark mode in this one. Okay. Delete. There you go. Let's put that back to how it was. Oh my goodness me! I don't. No. No. That doesn't work. Let's now try. It's gonna be broken no matter what, right? Hit network and do Docker run. That's just getting stuck. There's no way that doesn't come out with any content whatsoever. Docker run -- rm. Busybox ping. -c2 like that. What does that do? Makes 2 pings. Okay. Yep. Replied. So it's got. I assume that creates a new image, pulls an image, runs a container, and executes that command inside of it. What's the user node before your copy? Oh, it's running in. Oh, okay. That would make sense. Nope. But wouldn't it complain about permissions then? So for everyone watching, I am going to commit to doing this on stream until I have a building and deploying application that, so I am going to learn as I go, pain and all. Restart Docker, restart computer, buy new computer. I've already done that once this week. Okay, just because it's going to It's going to become an issue. Okay, so without Docker, Docker's not a thing right this second, right? No Docker file, right? npm install. We're not doing Aspire. I'm committed to choosing you one. You'll definitely succeed. I'll be patient. I don't like struggling this much on stream because it's not exactly. So I'm trying to make sure that I say the inside things outside properly, so that like my thoughts and my personal challenges are understood. Right. This is not my realm. This is not something I'm comfortable doing. It is not something I wanted to do on stream necessarily, but I think it's actually a very useful thing to demonstrate. I'm a developer. This DevOps aspect of things is uh, challenging. There you go. So it has some warnings, but it builds. npm install runs fine here. Just to prove. Nice. I think having looked at the recent changes for Rider, etc., I think Aspire is definitely an appealing tool for development, especially for things like Liquid Sky, right? Where there's all these little components. Um, so yeah. So for reference, this is what I'm looking to do, right? This screen is all I need to see by the time I get it deployed, right? So, um, so yeah, that's all I want to do. So let's create the Docker file again. Add the Docker file. I need to go back to Nabia's. Nabia. I mean, make sure I'm Nabia. Um, yeah, you make it look so easy. When I say use Aspire, I mean use it to generate the working Docker files. See the difference? I think it does this. I'm not messing around. Getting Aspire and doing all that just to figure out. That's a lot of side work that I do not want to do. Okay, right. That's back to how it was. This is going to be client app. That's what's going to distribute. We'll rename that later. Right. So then we're going to do Docker build dash T client app latest. We're gonna go with the easiest thing. There you go. We're installing the exact same node version. If I had a local Angular app deployed with Aspire, I would go and see if I could figure that out, but I don't have anything, and I'm not messing around trying to create something and going through that experience for something I'm not going to use because it's just too much of a diversion. This should work. I understand enough about the Docker file to understand what it's doing here, generally. Why can't you resolve those? Unless I have to upgrade. No, because they would still be available. Rockfile is right. So the only reason I put 18.2.8 there is to make sure that it installs the same CLI that I am using. This is only telling me that I can do this. The function are the same, right? It's a Unix command line. I can run the two commands. That's all it's doing. That's just suggesting I use a current version, but Nginx is not the problem. Once it's built to the app folder, it would have a client app, this client app, and that would be copied into the Nginx output so that you can connect directly into the application, and that would end up with that being the entry page, right? That doesn't matter. Dependencies. npm install works locally, doesn't work in Dockerfile. The npm install should have worked based on Dockerfile. You can see the create files. Educate guesses its own JS dependencies to all Franger. So why does it work locally? Like I'm happy to believe it is a dependency issue, but the fact that it runs locally means I don't want to go messing around with dependencies when it runs locally. Use Node for Windows. Why does the Node version? Why does the platform work? Make a difference to the dependencies version? But that means I can never be confident that it's going to be anywhere near representative. I don't want to do this. Is not. I'm gonna try one of these just to. I don't like the idea of doing this. That's why I use yarn instead of npm. That works. Well, I say works. My understanding was that yarn and npm. That's why I never messed around with going to yarn and stuff, and pnpm or whatever. Let's try a fresh project on my install. Get stuck on npm install. Joy. Okay, so that did work. We now have an image client app. This is delete that one. These are all my old ones. So we have client app run. So that's a container. No ports. Derp. Stop. Stop. Delete. This is why we will forever continue to reinvent. Is that Gabster? Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. My apologies for the struggle stream. But I am committed to making this. Okay, so let's just test that, see what it looks like. Docker run -d -p 88 4200 to port 80. What's the image? Client app, right? Client app. Latest. Containers. Hi, first time here. What's going on? Okay, so I have been building an application for the last year for doing project management and planning. The application is quite a large application, and it is built to solve some of the problems I find with Jira. We're at the point where the application is usable enough that we could use the application to plan the application, but I need a deployed version of that. It's a distributed system, so it has some challenges of its own there. So what I'm going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks is how to deploy the application using Pulumi. So we're going to create some infrastructure as code, go through that process, create all the scripts so we can just bring the system up on a Kubernetes bots and bring the system down. To be able to do that, we need to create Docker images of the components. So we're going to start with the website, the client app over here. This is the piece that I'm focused on right now. And what I'm trying to do is get a usable image that will allow me to see the app. So I should see a login screen that looks, no, not like that. That's interesting. That's funny, that's in dark mode. In Chrome, that's bright white. But anyway, so I'm trying to get that working. So the nice people in here are also trying to assist me with this because this is not my normal realm. Deployment is something I've touched rarely, but need to spend more time in. So we're going to be learning Docker, Pulumi, and the whole deployment pipeline thing over the next couple of weeks. If you're interested in the application itself, on YouTube, all the videos from past streams are there. We use a lot of different technologies, and the general theme of the stream is if you have questions, thoughts, opinions, you're more than welcome to share them on the technologies we're using, on the methods we're using, as long as they're constructive and not unnecessarily critical. I'm all good. Can we not copy node modules into the container? Do we need npm install? Well, the problem is this would be built off of GitHub Action eventually, right? So there's a working Docker file. I don't like that that's necessary to get, but it doesn't work because if I go in here, where the heck did it put the application? So it should have done, what should it have done? It should have copied user share nginx HTML. There's the app. Edit file. No, that's the Nginx page. But that's the app. Oh, I copied it into browser. What is what? You are maybe missing what the user share Nginx HTML. But it did copy whatever's in here there. If I do that, is that a new? Images, containers, delete that. Oh no, delete that, delete that, delete that. It's npm. I tried yarn to install and it worked. Okay. Can I get surprise? Can I just do yarn install, or do I need anything else there? Do I need to install yarn? Okay. Delete that. Oh, I'll be right back. Sorry. My apologies. I hit all the buttons as I did that. Oh no. Interesting. Sorry, the impromptu BRB was the doctor's office calling, so I had to answer that one. Fun. The ARM package is pre-installed in no container. Yeah, that's the way that would look. Yeah, that's what Mr. Anhorn is saying. So it's pre-installed, which is good. Fail to solve. That's interesting. So it's like, okay, let's do this. Package JSON. Let's do some. So it's saying incorrect peer dependency 1410. But I've got 15 installed. Oh, but it's depending upon 1410. But prime ng has a dependency on 14. So how do I? But they're warnings, they're not errors. What's the error? Permission denied. Make the app node modules. You're kidding me. You're actually kidding me. Wow. Okay. I think you can remove this user statement now. Oh, 1 second. Be right back. Okay. While we're away, we had a Loki join us. Right? We had a Loki join us. So that's fun. Right, but no, you can't have my coffee. No. Okay. So let's remove this. There you go, buddy. Okay. Can we no, you're not having the coffee cup. Sorry. Dan, thanks for the look. Suggest using this command if you don't want headaches from package version bumps. Copy package JSON and yarn lot run frozen lot file production. Okay. Let me have a look. So copy package JSON. zone to 14, shouldn't we? But this has a dependency on 14.1. This has a dependency on 14, and my package is. But that's not the error. Was access denied in this case? That wasn't the error. So these are just warnings. So I'm not going to worry about them. Hey, excuse you. I use the keyboard. You just look cute. Okay, we've sorted this out now. Okay, thank you. This is no. Come on. Don't think about it. Well, again, those are warnings. The problem here is permission denied, right? Loki, come on, sit down. Sit down. Oi, oi, you're not having the banana. You're not having the banana. No, no, the banana's not yours. No, it's not yours. Sit. Sit down. Yeah. Yeah. Sit down. Sit your bum down. Oi, sit down. Yeah. This is his thing now. He crawls up here every day. And he's not small. I mean he's not exactly massive, but he's not small. Are you, bud? What's the matter? Okay. The blackness USB. There's a banana on my desk for my snack later on, and he thinks he's getting it. Sit down. Sit down. There we go. You're not going to be helpful. What's your experience of Docker? This is going to become our thing near the end of the stream. Get off the keyboard. You are not standing on the desk. Sit down. Dogger. Look, say hello. Oh dear. You don't do the typing. I do the typing. Admittedly poorly. So if we go back to, I'm not trying to ignore Gabster's advice. We don't have a yarn because I don't use yarn locally. Okay. He does what he wants to do. They're gonna have a frustrating evening tonight, aren't you? Halloween, all these people moving around. You're gonna be barking like mad. All the kids. You're gonna want to see everyone, jump up at everyone, say hello. Last year you were a little still. You were like little friendly puppies. Mr. Jones, good day. How you doing? If we're dressed up as the PHP logo. Hey, that's what you want to do. Come on, bud. I type you do it poorly. Are you comfortable now? Okay, come on. Let's. Do you want to join my meeting later on as well? It might distract from the fail. I don't use yarn locally, so the yarn lock isn't going to be there. So this is going to create its own yarn lock file, right? So e-access permission denied node modules. Yarn install. That's not the point, is it? Docker. I'm not doing chown. Why would I do that? Why? Choc Choctaw user pooling. What this is making me worry about is when I do, even if I create this Docker file now, when I go and push it to GitHub and ask GitHub Actions to build this, am I going to hit another bunch of problems with GitHub not being able to build it with whatever GitHub does? That's what I'm worried about right now. Check. So what does so dash dash production? That's not going to change that. Why would that change anything? Yes, I'm because I've got a black dog in the way acting as a pop filter. You're a giant pop filter. Yes, you are. Are you happy here? Is it good being my head? You are the face of the stream. At least look at the camera. Huh? What's the matter? You want cookies? Lots of cookies? All the cookies? Yeah. He is facing the wrong way. Put wiggly head in the back of him. Yeah. I've just done the same thing again with just a different command on the install, which makes no difference whatsoever. So to that, I just wanted to understand if that changes the output. So my hope is that as the stream goes by, as the streams continue working on this, right, and I will work on this bits off stream, right, that bit by bit, day by day, my understanding grows. We can work on these pieces. Um, we can I can share them. I can share the pains and the trials and the tribulations of getting this deployed. But by the end of this, what we have is an application that is deployed to a Kubernetes cluster that we can log into. Interesting. Huh. That didn't fail. It failed at the next piece. Um, I'm gonna eat your nose. Do not kiss me. As my mum used to say, great door, bad window. So that failed on this one. It failed with Yarn Global Ad. Ah, ooh. output. Sit down. Sit. 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 I'm close. Sit down. Sit. Okay. He's actually stood. I've got my legs split. He's actually stood on my legs. um, bridging across them. This is why he keeps looking like he's gonna fall when he tries to turn around. Took 10 minutes for NPM install. Oh, there you go. Good boy. Now he does it right at the end. Okay, so that worked. NPM is a cannot find module. So this now. Now, when it does this, does it build on top of the last image that it built? No, it doesn't. It builds a fresh one every time, doesn't it? Because it does everything from scratch. So it's not like it's got node modules there and it's interfering. Because now this let it proceed, but now this fails because now it doesn't have dependencies for build. Let's do no cache. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, I don't get this. Did I have the user in there when I tried that? Okay, that worked. That code worked first try. Right. But that doesn't build the Angular app, right? That's P 4280 client app latest. So what the hell is that doing? Sorry, that's naughty. Keep the language under control, and there go curse. User share. There is no share folder. So if we go to files, Angular dist. So I could hold on. I can do this locally, right? Do that. It'll create me a dist folder and I'll see what it creates. So if you're new to the stream, this is not the normal content for the stream. It will be for the next couple of weeks in terms of figuring out this deployment story, figuring out sorry. Figuring out how to get this deployment to work, figuring out how to build this application. That's interesting. Getting Pulumi up and running and getting that flow. So the client app browser. So it does put it in browser. Why does it put it in there? Because there's the index HTML, right? That's the actual application. Okay. So why is this still displaying this? Is the question. Let's see. Why is that not letting me get into that container? There's our build. There's our completed build. That works fine. Loading build details. Do dash D. Things are not going as I intend here. Docker Desktop's having a bit of a moment. Docker Desktop's just done. It's like, no, I'm finished. I'm done for the day. Okay. Well, I don't have any more time, unfortunately. So I want to say I really, truly appreciate all the effort everybody's been providing to get this working. This is what takes the trepidation away from doing this on stream, knowing that I've got a bunch of people more than happy to try and help and to figure this out, and just as devoted as I am to like learning this stuff. So thank you very much. I'm going to try this again for a few times over the day, see if I can get that build running, see if I can get it pushed into a GitHub action probably later on today. And then, oh, it's Halloween. I might not get much time. Docker's not usually this hard. This looks specifically to Node. Yeah, I'd appreciate it, Mr. Jones. If you have any insights, it would be good. It does look like some of it has changed, but because a lot of this stuff is very different. So, but yeah, any insights anyone could provide is all very welcome. So, I'm gonna go and try and do this again a few times over the course of the day, and if I can get it working, I will share in the Discord. So if you are not in the Discord and you would like to follow along and whatnot in there, you're more than welcome. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we can get to the GitHub action tomorrow, and we can get it publishing to the Docker repository. And once we have the image of this in the Docker repository, it should be just a case of creating the Pulumi configuration, hitting deploy, and having it pull that out, and then be able to get the Nginx working there. Don't ignore all the warnings. Sometimes they're erroneous, and see you later, maybe. Yeah. I get ignoring the warnings, but there's so many warnings that can happen in an application stack that you've got to be careful. And those things are conflicting warnings from different components. So how do I resolve them? They're not necessarily all at my um, command. So, but anyway, let's go raid Fullbots. It's Halloween. He's having some fun with graphics, and he's got cat ears on. So hey, have fun. I'll take you over to Fullbots. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, all. I'll see you again soon. Bye.